Best things I did in a long time. Could never have enough vice grips. It's easy just to hang them on there. Some of them you clamp down, some of them you don't. But it's close to the vise, so that works out nice.
Tell me about this vise.
Well, it's kind of a long story. I never had a new vise, so I decided I'd buy I won't say the brand, from Amazon, a little 3-inch bench vise. So got it, opened it all up, set it up, turned the handle a half turn. The jaws didn't move. Well, I've got 2 or 3 sitting around here like that. So I got a little upset, and so I decided there's a screw in there that was loose. So I got the screwdriver out and turned it, and the head of the screw broke off. So I could have fixed it, but being I bought it from Amazon, I just packed it all up, and I said, I'll make my own vices. I had all the material here, and I get carried away with things. I think I made 3 of them. I mean, this looks kind of cool. It's, but what happens is you're always getting your shirt sleeve or something caught into it. But this one needs a little adjustment on the inside here. You see you've got a 1/4 of a turn before nothing happens.
So it looks like the jaws are made from angle iron?
Yeah, but there's a lot of different ways you can do it. That's 5/8 all thread, and sometime I take a wore out clamp that's got the acorn type threads, and I'll weld it on to this 5/8 all thread, and then use part of the clamp to catch the acorn. And a couple of them I made, I'm sure I used just the 5/8 11 all thread. And so you got all your wore out parts from all your grinders. So you got a nice big washer there that's 5/8 11. Why not use them for something? So, in fact, inside there, we can hopefully look at it. I got a vertical vise, and it's all made out of material I had, and 5/8 all thread, and it's easy enough to use your washers and everything you have left from all your worn out grinders. And while we're here, this is cutting thread, lube, that's automatic transmission fluid, and acetone. Well, I run out of acetone, so. But the reason I did this, you don't fill them up very full, or you don't fill them full at all, just enough here in the bottom. So when I knock them over, or knock it on the floor, and you forget about it, and half your bottle of cutting fluid runs out, that has a tendency to get you a little upset. Then you got to clean it up. So
words of wisdom.
So I've done that enough times. And while we're here, we'll just go ahead and do a bunch of other stuff. This is, I don't know that I've seen this somewhere or come up with it, but what you can do with it is put it in the vise, and means you got these cut out here. It's real easy to clamp things to. And while we're talking about clamps, I can see on YouTube, This halfway works for real small parts. We've got staples here. We hopefully figure out something. If you need to clamp something in there and weld it for small parts. Spring's not. You can use that to hold something. Just real quickie.
How did you make those two?
Yeah, just a piece of pipe. And maybe a tip. Cut it through one end, but don't cut all the way through the other end until you get it put together. Those are nuts, and you got to grind part of them off so they don't get in the way when you open them. Need to bend these arms out a little more. I used to do a lot of tables, and this was door
I think the
openers.
first thing I saw you demo was a table.
Okay. This sits under the table. You weld it to your frame or whatever you have under your top, and this becomes your drawer. These take, that's a piece of 5/8 square. Okay, it's held on by these screws. So theoretically you can adjust it a little bit, and you can always grind off here. It's welded underneath and then grind down. What happens lots of times, okay, you got all this made and you weld it up under there. Well, something warps. So you're back to the drawing board getting everything to fit. And if you're doing this, put the bottom in last. Okay.
Okay.
Because you may need to get in there and work with something to get everything to work. And another trick to this is you got it sitting on your table. If this thing's cocked a little bit, when you put your front plate on there, you line it up straight. Okay, I'm sure that's the way a lot of cabinets are made.
Oh, yeah.
And you just a piece of square tubing, and it helps a lot if you got a saw that cuts nice and straight. So, but you see a lot of little tables with drawers in them. They're made out of wood, but you don't see many that are made out of steel.
That's true.
And you got, you can't put a whole lot in there. And another thing, you need to rig up a stop here. And I haven't got this on this one. But you can make it so you can flip it up and you pull the whole drawer out. But you don't want somebody pull this drawer out and drop it on the foot.
True.
Lot of this was spec work, and it was sold out of a gallery or someplace, and so you never know where this stuff's going, and you don't want some kind of liability suit. Oh, that didn't work. Well, let's just leave it for now. probably everybody knows about repurposing your chucks on those drills that wear out.
It's a good idea.
Makes good for a file. And I purposely left the bottom flat so they sit.
It's a nice feature.
Yeah. Yeah, because what? You're going to lay them down like that and they're going to roll off somewhere. All these pliers got different uses. This one's to hold round stuff. If you got punch outs or something, it needs to be modified a little bit. These are a piece of stainless steel, and they need to be replaced really. But I can just grind them off and weld them back on there. These are pretty handy. Grabbing small stuff through here, through the front. And I mean, this pair of pliers are pretty hopeless, but you can use this to bend some rings or whatever comes along. These are same way. Two different sizes here. What's nice about these, let me show you some. I use tongs.
So I imagine at one time or another you've used all of these tools.
Yeah, I haven't figured out a whole lot to do with these. And I had a cooler in there this summer and I didn't pay attention, and so I got a lot of rust on everything. These are made out of a pair of dikes. You don't have as much use as a slip joint pair. Okay. I go to yard sales and I find pliers that are halfway reasonable price. I usually buy them because I like straighten handles on them. I don't like curved handles. This is conduit. It's just been smashed flat to hang things on. That stuff's got zinc on it. You don't want to heat that up. You're going to get some bad odors. And
was there a blacksmith that died from doing that a while back?
Yeah, I think it's been a while. And what we're going to be doing later is smashing this. This is stainless steel. That's they were big sheets, and these are drops off of the side of it. But okay, if you heat this up in coal or gas forge, you're going to get some very you're going to get oxide on it that's very difficult to remove. So we're not using any oxygen with this inductance forge, so we're still going to get oxidation, but it shouldn't be as bad as I'll show you a piece here in a minute. This hammer rack, I seen this on in the Anvil's Ring. The guy had his these tubes mounted somewhere, and he close to his anvil, and then he drops his hammers in. Well, if you weld the bottom of these plate on the bottom of them, drill a hole in it, and the round ones that don't make that much difference, but bolt them to a piece of angle iron, and you can position these any way you want to. This one, with the round ones, don't make much difference.
And the handles are all ready to grab.
Yeah. These are, well, I made all these hammers. These two are S7. And I don't particularly like rounding hammers. I don't know why. They're too short here. So I did this on this one, and I really hardly seldom ever use that. Another piece of S7, just a regular straight ping hammer. You can get a modified claw hammer. It's pretty light, but the ideal is if you need to get in close to something. from your fixture you got here.
So that's to position your material in the
Yeah,
coil so it doesn't
correct.
touch the sides.
Correct.
Okay.
And to get maximum heat out of the coils, from what I understand, you should have about 3/8 of an inch between the inside of your coil and your workpiece.
No more than 3/8?
Yeah, you can, but it may not be as efficient.
Okay.
What we're going to do today, I'm going to try to do everything I got. We're going to do just with this one coil. So I got, what, about 5 or 6 of them here.
Okay.
This is a pancake coil. But I ordered this thing and I was unhappy about how it was working. So I think they're using silicone and
As an insulator
yeah,
on the coil?
and I think you can use what we used to call it isinglass. But I can use it like this as long as I don't, short out the coils. And there's a taco coil, which is shaped like a taco. The good thing about that is you can move stuff in and out. And
Yeah.
I really should make one, but I don't know if I'll get around to that or not. I've still got material to build some coils. And my little wrench and it takes me a while to figure out things, so why not make one like this with a extension on it that you can change sockets.
Good idea.
I'm sure you can buy these handles with everything on it. I don't know, but it's
I don't think you'd buy a handle like that.
more fun to flatten a piece of round material and punch a hole in it. So, of course, I'll show you some inside that I got lazy.
Okay.
One person told me it's not being lazy, it's being efficient. So that's my excuse.
Works for me.
Let's try to get things going here. And
So did you make this clamp on the end that holds
Yeah.
your... So how does that clamp work?
okay, it's a light duty clamp. I've seen this on YouTube. All this rust ain't helping things. Hopefully you can get an idea here.
Oh, I see.
This should pivot. I had a whole bunch of this, it's 1/8 by 1 and there's a 3/16. I had a whole bunch of this left. So I hadn't had to buy any material in a long time, and well, I hadn't been doing a whole lot. So how it goes on there, they're not, you just,
So that lever cams it closed.
Correct.
Okay.
so probably got the hole drill in the wrong place there. There's another place I got a hole drill wrong. Everything doesn't work. I've made a lot of scrap, so but everything doesn't always work the first time.
Well, that's your R&D, right?
So, I still do, is keep a notebook and put your notes in there on how you build things and dimensions. The thing about it, nothing is indexed, so you got a whole stack of notebooks like that. If I want to figure something out, I got to go through all of them. But something good about that is you made some pictures of something in there and forgot about it. Going through, oh yeah, I remember that, I was going to do that, but I never did. So I may try to find my gloves and we'll get all this done. Boys that's I'm not familiar with, maybe you ought to stop and figure out what's going on. Years ago, I had that door over here and I just opened it up. And I was doing some forge welding with the coal. And I kept hearing this strange sound. And what happened, I caught some grass on fire out there. So, I don't mean scary, buddy, but all this stuff can hurt you. And I've been pretty fortunate. So, what? Slow makes it right or something, there's a little saying to that. So we'll get this fired up, and it's going to take a little bit for this to heat up and this to heat up. But I tried heating this up just using the coils. This thing will heat stainless, but it takes a long time. Okay, and I've heated up bronze, and it takes a long time. I'm sure there's people who know a lot more about that than I do. And the technology of it, I don't really care. I just want to know how it operates. And another thing I did here was, this is the foot switch, and I leave it on auto, and I use a foot switch to start it, and I made this lever mechanism to stop it. My experience with this foot switch, I made a cover over it so if I dropped something on it I wouldn't break it. Well, it's never in the right place, and this works out best for me. And the cooler is also 220, so when I turn this on, the cooler turns on, power comes to the this machine, and then I switch it on. So this is going to be noisy.
So you might have to talk louder because of that.
Okay. I'm not going to go into all this stuff, switches and everything here. There's lots of stuff on YouTube. You can set it up for how long you want to heat something. You can set it up to maintain that heat for a while. And you got heat, you got retain, and I never have used this technique. But the thing of it is, you're doing production work. You can set up all those times. So you pull one piece out, work on it, put another piece in, and move on. That's fine. Good job. It's going to take a while for this stainless to get up to heat. Max on this one is about 600. But I don't want to burn the stainless steel I got here, so when it gets hot, we can adjust this to where it's not going to damage that stainless.
Now it's heating up.
And we'll be using Hamburger. Put on earbuds. Okay, you can see we're starting to get the heat in our air conditioner. 99 to left start over.
Yeah. So what will this be used to make?
Bracelet.
A bracelet, okay.
Okay, you can also make gimbals out of it.
Oh, nice.
Being part of our show and tell.
Okay.
You would do the whole strip, and once you line that wood on, you have one at a time. Hopefully you can see what's happening there. It's smashing all those pieces.
Yeah.
Don't come around. Anything on the floor is considered hot. So we're going to change that out and forge on this pipe.
Okay.
Oh, another thing I could point out is if you had small pieces, you could use this also, because you got to have some mass under there or through the coil.
Helps fit the coil to the workpiece.
Yeah. Oh, also it's a piece of copper. I put it in there using this. And it did get hot to where you could quench it and anneal it. But copper, if you got a gas forge, that's the way to go. It's easy to clean up. I've got all kinds of different jigs and stuff to put under here. In fact, I don't even remember what some of them are for. Okay, we got to raise that a little bit. You want to be gentle with that thing. Let's set it down somewhere. That's a good place for it now. I've got this column made. I'm sure everybody's seen a lot of these and different ways to do them. This is how I make these tools. I seen this in a video. The ones where you come out, make a loop, come back. I never can get those to work right. So I had a lot of tubing and material and bolts. The thing that's kind of neat about doing this, you could change the spacing here and do different things. And what this amounts to is just 2 blocks that are rounded off. You want these edges round and bolt them together and drill your holes in them. This is for, this is 3/4 of an inch. But I use it on this, that's a little bigger than 1-inch pipe, OD. And the thing is, doing this, I can take this off and put it on other ones of these things. Okay, that sits in there. Now we tighten all this up. This thing gets noisy. If you got a big hammer with, I need to get that a little straighter, large dies, you may not have to make this so it bolts down. And this bolt mushrooms on the end, so every once in a while you got to replace it. It's got a brass washer there. Shall we, it's 11:25.
Okay.
Shall we,
Good break time?
Yeah.
All right.
It takes about 20 minutes to get over to Pete's shop.
Okay.
And I told him, well, I go there every Friday and we have lunch.
All right, lunch break.
Well, we're going to make some of these balls on this pipe. And this is the jig I'm going to be using. And we just slowly turn it, real light taps until we get it started. So it'll take several beats.
So I noticed you just turned it a little bit. You don't hit opposite sides or turn it 90. But
I've had just turn it a little bit and
Not-
then maybe going back.
okay, I did see you go back and forth.
And you want to try to hold it level. And just let see it go up and down. Looks like pretty good.
Okay.
But I'm using the same coil we're having before. Now, we got a hold here in the end, so we're not closing that up, so the pressure can get out. If you're got a big solid rod with a hole in it, you don't want to do this, because I have heard of them that won't pop.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it's something you want to be aware of. Generally, I'm going to have the pipe cut off at the end. And now we get some heat down there, not a whole lot. But generally, you want to plug off the end with a drag or something. Because you're going to have a lot of heat coming out of it. Quench it. You have to quench it. Grab a hold over here and keep that downspout away from it. You can have
So
boiling
the
water.
steam goes out.
Maybe one more, two more heats, we might be done.
Okay.
And another thing, if you get something lopsided, you want to keep that in mind when you start. You know, you can straighten it out. But person could use it like that or something. Without making it huge hole. get kind of crooked. Straighten it out a little bit. So, if I had the timer set up, we could do one for 2 pieces. And it's just a matter of how long you want to use it, how long you want to take it.
Can you say that again of the camera?
If we want to, we can work 2 pieces at a time. We can set up the timer heat, and a timer for retain heat, and a little bit like production.
Have you done that before?
Yeah, not very much, because I'm not getting hurt.
I have not tried to do that yet, but I think after this I may give it a shot, just for fun.
But using this like this is never so much better. I think we'll stop right here. Man, this is
Looks really nice.
pretty symmetrical. It's going to be okay, here's one made out of a piece of solid material. Just for kicks and giggles. Let's try one. I'm not sure this is the right round. A solid piece, 3/4 inch round. And I've worn most of that already. But we'll clean it up a little bit too.
I'm going to try closing that door some more also.
Or
Yeah. Yeah, that helps. So what is that?
it's graphite and butter.
Okay.
It's dried up. Let me go put some oil in here. And we'll use it on this tool.
Okay.
That's kind of a slurry of graphite and water, and we're just gonna put on this tool. It works like anti-seize. It's really good if you're punching holes, slot punching or whatever. Just probably makes your chisel life last very long. Can't open it.
So why did we need the punch lube on this one and not on the pipe?
I should have been using it on the pipe also.
Okay, I understand.
The pipe's going to crush it.
Time to re-weld it?
And hopefully it'll last a long time. I think it's all the power hammer work we're going to be doing here. Let me slide this bucket out. Shoot. That's got my... let's just take this out. That's my canola oil for knives.
Oh.
I made this tool years and years ago, and you can see how it's put together. It's pretty heavy angle iron. Well, it's 3/8 anyway. But put it together, and some people say put a business card in between here, and that guides your drill bit. Well, I don't know. I think that's what I did, but anyway, we got all different size holes here for different size bolts. Then I got several of these made that may just have 1 or 2 holes in them for bigger bolts. But it's used to decorate the heads of bolts. And lots of times I'd take a regular bolt and forge the head square, and then put it in here, and you can manipulate it.
Did you have to worry about mashing the threads?
No, because you drill, if I remember right, you drill this hole the same size as your bolt.
Okay.
And okay, it's gonna hold it. And we'll just heat this one up there and throw it in there and hammer on it a little bit. But you can do all kinds of designs on the bolt heads. So, and I've got another one of these over there that's slightly smaller holes, and I'll show you how I use that. We're going to use the same coil. This is was a bar of stainless steel, I think about 7/8 in diameter, and I just forged it flat. We're going to use that to lay our piece of material on. Now, ideally, you would go to a smaller coil, but I can show you can just do this. And if you use mild steel, this is what you wind up with. And you got to get all that scale on there, and it's not going to last very long. But we could put a lot more heat to this piece of stainless steel. So we'll crank.
So the stainless has less fire scale?
Yes, and I guess you just got a whole lot more tensile strength there.
Okay.
Okay, so that's, I mean, I can heat this piece of stainless a lot hotter than I can heat a piece of steel. But we'll do that again and put it in here. Okay, let's go. decorate that head. Put chisel marks on it. These are good. Okay, so this is the same thing, only all these holes in here are drilled slightly smaller than the all thread we're going to use. That's a piece of 3/8 all thread, and I screwed a square nut onto it. 3/8 all thread with a regular hex type nut. In fact, these were a little thicker, and yesterday I pounded them down some. So we'll hammer it down a little more. End product I'm looking for, I want to get this real thin, and then I may have to grind a little off the edge, and we can feed that over. So we can have something like that.
Nice.
The part that was through there made it square on the end, so when you mash it down, bring it down, it gets kind of a square form. And the reason I was making these is I want to use them like a bolt to fasten a couple things together. I got some stuff inside we can look at how I use these. I'm going to get these little ears in there, so the next time that's going to be a crease, and the next time when we put it in, we'll put the creases in the slot. We can get rid of that. And if we can't, we'll instead take the grinder or plow and take them off. We might even leave them on there. Now, we want this hole dripping with threads. We booger up the threads, just run a tap on the thread. Okay, this thing is stuck. And we need, I'm going to use a monkey tool the same size as our ball thread. So it slips over the ball thread and we're mashing that nut. Put this where I can find it.
That heats up really fast.
It could get hotter than that. So we got kind of a good mass there, and we'll heat it up a couple more times to smash it a little more. And then I like the flowers like this. That's a piece of, it might be a 1/4 inch. I don't know. We got about 3/16 piece of wire there, and that gives us quite a bit if you want to chisel it or whatever you want to do to it. That's sticking out quite a ways to dig it over. You let it cool, grind that down, and then dig it over. We'll just hit this one a couple times.
So is that nut stuck in that position now?
I'm sorry?
Is that nut stuck in that position, or will it move?
Theoretically, you want it stuck. Sometimes I've come back in here and welded it. It up a little bit. It depends on kind of what you've used before too. I make flowers out of it, and got some inside. And if you're not going to be turning them in and out, they don't necessarily have to be.
Like that. Okay.
If you're selling this stuff, and somebody picks this up, looks at it, twiddles the head of it, oh, that's not. You don't want it.
It's true.
Even though we had a couple of coils of three, these different methods They do an awful lot. You're gonna have to have half a dozen.
I see that, and it saves the time of changing out the coil too.
Yeah. I really don't need to be square there. For some reason, I think I need it a little bit.
It's the engineer in you.
It's possible to get that a little thinner, but I don't know whether it's really worth it or not. Let me look for a chisel, and if I can find it, we'll try to do some work on the top of it. Other thing, if you had a torch, you could leave it in there, heat it up. It saves some time. Not much problem. I was looking for, but we'll try it. What we're going to try to do is get it off, make it in there, and drive it down right here. Ideally, we'll do that on all four sides. But I probably want to get one at a time there. It's getting hot. Hopefully you can see what we're trying to accomplish there. Do that on each of the four sides, and then maybe get a little broader punch and make it a little bigger. And when we ping this over, hopefully that might make this nut a lot more stationary. And I didn't get it even on both sides. I don't do perfect folks. You want that? Go see the machine shop.
There you go.
Okay, the little boxes that I got inside, I used staple gun and one other thing. One of those little stands had some staples in it, left it away. So just 3/4 inch square bar with the groove in it.
What's in it?
Just a groove. I think I put 2 bars together and drilled a hole, probably about 1/8 inch, maybe a little bigger. And you can make out what it is.
Okay.
And down the center of it. Okay. This is old hat. Just a piece of flat plate with a 3/8 inch square welded on each end. So half of that bar ought to be 3/8 of an inch. So put that on there and mark it. Right in the middle of that is the center of the bar. Now you can make up a whole bunch of these with all different widths of material. So this one's 5/8. Here's 1 3/4.
Quick way to find the center of a bar.
Yeah. And the work I do, that's close enough.
And it looks to be consistent also.
Yeah. And while we're talking about that, I made some, put up there. Let's play myself. You can buy these at woodworking stores and a lot of different places. Or you can use a combination. Set it to whatever you need it to. But I thought this was kind of neat. That's a pretty good ruler here. Something made in the US. But you just slide that to have what dimension you use. What I do lots of times, I mark the dimension I want and then set this to it. So your line comes where it's supposed to.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you just tighten that up. There's, I had some drawings on that, how to do these wing nuts. I don't know where they are right now, some instructions. But I like these kind of wing nuts. The ones they draw each end out and roll it up in a curl. Well, that was, what, 200 years ago? Which there's nothing wrong with it, but, you know, can't you forge stuff and make it look, I don't know, I don't want to say industrial. Well, it may look industrial, but have some sort of style to it, or I like arts and crafts stuff, so that's what.
Yeah, it's very craftsman style.
That's I base a lot of stuff I've built on that. So, and there's probably another one here. I think I wound up giving a bunch of them away. There's a little smaller one. It doesn't work as well. There's some of that tape on the inside here that's what they call it, HWMB.
Hmm.
It's cut down on friction.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's what's inside that cylinder. Or there's pieces of that inside here to allow your head to go up and down.
okay.
And generally we use this like 50 every once in a while, put on there. But the thing, you could use bronze in there, but I think this plastic stuff's probably a lot cheaper than buying sheets of bronze.
Hmm.
Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. This is 1/8 inch stick welding rod. Knock the flux off of it. Over at the shop, people were always coming by and bringing us stuff. So they'd come by with a whole bucket full of welding rod.
Oh, really?
And of course it got wet or something. It's
Oh.
And I found the easiest way to knock that flux off. There's no way of doing it except making a big mess, but I'm gonna do it on the floor here. If you do it on the anvil, it falls off down everywhere. If you do it under the hammer, you can put a kiss block under there and make short work of it. But why not do this? This stuff comes off pretty easy. Some of it's a lot harder to get off. Okay, we just get the dustpan and broom, clean that up. We ain't got it scattered all over everywhere, except what I'm doing right here. And these need to be run through the wire brush. And put your dust mask on. No telling what that stuff is that's flying off of there. So, and then generally I take these and fire propane and run them through to anneal them a little bit.
Hmm.
So that helps. Like these 1/8 inch ones, you can bend cold. If you get a lot bigger than that, you're probably going to have to heat them up. So you're going to have to figure out how wide a staple you want, okay, how much material it's going through, and how much you're going to need to bend them over. And I've got one box in there. I keep telling people to don't do this. Well, I did it anyway, so I shouldn't be giving orders here, but so when the staples come through on the inside, you want them to come through like this. They don't have to touch, but you don't want that, or one up, down. You don't have to do that, but all our work's going to be expensive. And they look at the price. A lot of people going to look it over very carefully. So, and the other thing I bring up, it's your work. It's got your name on it. So, however you want to handle that. So anyway, I had some notes there somewhere on that particular box I was building out of channel iron, how big these staples need to be. But where it's at right now, I don't have any idea. But I came up 2.5 inches, so I marked the middle of that. And we're going to take a pair of vice grips. I think these work. Nope. This ain't gonna hold it.
Are they on the vice grip rack?
Yeah, but I don't know. I thought I left them out, so this would
Be ready, yeah.
go smoother.
Ready these?
Well, these work, but they're a little wide.
Oh, too wide for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, here's the same tool. It's just for a longer staple.
Oh, sure.
Because I use this to hold the lid on these boxes, a nice long staple. And the part that comes inside your lid sits on. That was something that I finally did that was simple. I have to learn things the hard way lots of times. Well, this irritates me. I made these for something, but I don't think they're going to hold this. Maybe they will. Yeah. Okay. So we got this in the center of here, center of here. We're just going to take a hammer and bend those over. And hopefully they're about the same length. Uh-oh, they're a little longer. That's what we did. So I got a measurement off somewhere. Another thing I want to point out is you want to round these edges off. Either do it before you make them or after you get them this way. Because you don't want somebody sticking their hand down in there and you got a sharp part sticking out and they cut themselves. That's not good. But you wouldn't have to do this if you had a jig made up to do collars. You could probably use it. And I don't know, I just started doing them this way and I did a lot of them. And you can do all different sizes, so we can look at some of that. And, oh, a couple things I want to show you while we're here. This is another hacksaw I made. And really all I wanted to point out is here on where you bent this 90 degrees. Can you see it's been mushed?
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, that should make that joint or that bend stronger. Okay, you're creating more surface here. I mean, on this hacksaw frame, it wouldn't have been necessary at all. But I seen that somewhere, and I thought, well, I'll do that. There's another junior hacksaw. I guess that's what they call them. But I made regular ones pretty much same design. And this piece started out, I think, as a piece of 3/8 by 1. Okay, and you split it and then open it up, and that's what you make all of this part out of. You're going to have excess material there depending on how much you forge all this down. And everything's I'd say just get you more basic forge work, however you want to decorate it. I can't get into decorations a whole lot. The tool needs to work for what it was designed for. That always don't happen. Okay. Anything else here? Oh, the only thing I got boxes full of nuts I do at a time. There's one, just that's not very decorative. Something similar there. That's just a square head pinged over, so it's kind of nice. There's one got more to it. So whatever you come up with. In fact, that was probably forged a little bit browned and then dealt with. So you make all your own tools, punches and stuff for that. Okay, I think that's about it in here.
So Mo,
Yes.
what is your blacksmith story? How did you get into blacksmithing?
Well, I grew up on the farm in western Oklahoma, and in the summer we'd take the plowshares to the blacksmith shop to get them sharpened. And I thought it was a huge place. And I said, boy, there's something going on in here. And I gathered a few parts, some tongs, and I think I had an old coal forge, but I never did do anything with it. So in 1977, I moved out here to Phoenix, and I was out at Pioneer Village one day, and they had a blacksmith working there at the village. So he told me about the Arizona Artists Blacksmith Association, and showed me one of their newsletters. So I joined that and never did hear anything from them. So I finally got a newsletter, and they were having a meeting in Flagstaff. It was outside of town. So it was a Saturday and Sunday meeting. So I went to that, and a couple times while I was there, I says, what am I getting myself into here? There's some stories I probably shouldn't tell them, but I was pretty naive about a lot of things. Probably still am. But anyway, started gathering tools. Phoenix Forge, Callaway, and his partner had beginner's blacksmith course, and I think it was like either 2 or 3 weekends, and you just learned basic steps, and you made some tools. So I think that was in probably 1984. So I've been a member of the ABA since then. Went to a lot of conferences, a lot of demos. I've been very fortunate. People I've worked around for and with, not even blacksmiths, but other people in the crafts, like woodworkers, people that do glass, ceramics people. I mean, after all, what we're doing is taking material and manipulate it to build something else. So we all have something in common here. So that's the way I look at it. But that and I got laid off from Honeywell in 1991, and wasn't a good time to be looking for a job. So I worked probably 6 or 8 months, maybe a year for other blacksmiths, and kind of got involved. This evolved in getting my own shop. So I've always rented space from some other blacksmiths to do where I had my shop. And so what, from about 92 to 2015, I was a full-time blacksmith. And 2015, I moved out of my shop, moved a lot of my equipment here at home, sold a lot of it. Now I'm trying to get rid of more, and it's not going well. This downsizing, maybe you ought to just sell it all at once. I don't know what's the best way to do it. But oftentimes you'll sell something and then you'll be doing something. Well, I wish I had that tool. Well, that's the way it goes. So that's pretty much my story. And like I say, met a lot of nice people, and some of them you don't want to be around, but I've learned an awful lot from other people, and that's, blacksmiths are very willing to share their knowledge, the biggest part of them. I mean, what are you going to hide? Somebody else is going to do the same job and do it a little different, so you're talking about handmade stuff, a lot of it. And I don't know, I believe in sharing. So I'm a generous person, but I just don't have any money. So,
Are you glad you became a blacksmith?
well, I wasn't counting on it. I'm glad I started it as a hobby. But it's you're self-employed. It can be a tough way to make a living. So you need to put in a lot of hours, and you're lots of times dealing with customers, and you can have difficult clients, which I think we should have a difficult client fee for what we charge, because you take your vehicle in to get the oil changed, they got all kinds of fees, disposal fees, shop material fees. So why not a difficult customer fee added on to your usual fee? That's probably not nice either, but it's just a thought. Okay.
Well, thank you, Mo Hamburger.
Well, thank you for taking this, and everybody work safe, and get out in the shop and build something. she's kind of tame.
You see? Seems curious.